Alright, so in this video I'm just gonna be talking about obviously what's in the title, right? You was loyal to the wrong people and you end up being betrayed. And for context, what that might look like is you were invested in people, you were invested in family, you were invested in a situation, and you ended up getting the short end of the stick pretty much. Like, you just was like, yo, I really poured into this situation and I got nothing out of it. The same people that I ended up helping turned their back on me and made it seem as if I was after them or taking advantage of them. Or those same people that you helped ended up misunderstanding you from one random instance where you trusted them, and they ended up taking that and slandering you or whatever the case may be, or just talking bad on you, because it happens. Because you could be close with people and the next minute they could be your enemies. So if you're going through that situation, what do you do after that? How do you handle that? What comes up? Because you just put in time to something. So obviously you're gonna be a little confused because you just got hit. Honestly, the best advice that I could give you is to just let it go. Sounds simple, but it really is just that. You gotta learn your lesson from it. I already said it. Relationships come in your life for three things: to teach you something, to open you up, or to be a mirror to you. Friendships come just the same, and sometimes friendships don't even last. It's like, this is just not even sometimes. It's just the impermanence of life. There are things in life that aren't permanent, and there's many things that aren't permanent. But one thing I can say is always gonna be the truth, and it's always gonna be here, is the flow of life. If you know life goes in a certain direction, or it could go in any direction, you gotta accept it for what it is. And that might be a hard pill for you to swallow, because you might be holding on to something a whole lot more, how can I say, heavier than a situation. It could be something that you dealt with in your past, especially when it comes to the flow of life. Some of us tend to cling on to what it is that some of us tend to cling on to what it is that we've experienced in our past. And I get it, it's a very human thing, and our society is set up to be that way. We're taught to judge people over their past. So we're taught to even now judge situations off of our own past, and we let those things define us. But I'll always say, how you react to things defines you more than the situation itself. So the lesson in this is that you have to understand what got you there in the first place. It's your empathy. You're most likely a real empathetic person. And when you see other people, you understand them. And you tend to probably put you're probably one of those people that would literally take the shirt off of their own back to make sure somebody else is warm, because you got a shirt at home. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you good, so you can extend. And that's good. That's the humanity in you. That's humanity in general. But after being betrayed now, let's say like it's your only circle, or it's your only anything that you felt close to. You gotta know now, this is your time of isolation. This is your season to start letting your boundaries be stronger than your empathy. And I think a lot of us tend to forget what our boundaries even look like. Some of us don't even spend time on that. Some of us don't even understand what boundaries are and what purpose they serve. Boundaries are meant to make things last longer. Thank you so much. Boundaries are meant to make things last longer. At the end of the day, if I have a relationship with you, and I tell you my boundaries, you now know what not to do in order to make the relationship last longer. You're aware of it. I've made you aware of it. If you tell me your boundaries, you've made me aware of it. So now I know not to cross it. And that's how you make relationships last longer. And sometimes you don't even know what your boundaries are until you actually experience it. You actually go through the situation. Some of us don't even voice our boundaries and we just cut the person off. But that's because we never wanted the relationship to last in the first place. That's why a lot of times when I've been in situations where someone had just cut me off, I don't say nothing because I understand that's for their own benefit. They couldn't speak up about what boundaries they wanted to have with me because that's just their life and that's just what they wanted. And who am I to get in the way of what they want? At the end of the day, if somebody wants to be in your life, let them willfully. Don't try to force it. You gotta let things be, because what's meant for you is meant for you already. So you gotta know now that what's left is gone. Say bye-bye to it. Now it's time for you to show for yourself. And it starts with understanding how you manage your empathy. Because you gotta manage it. Because I know how it might feel to look at somebody and be like, damn, I've been there. Yo, let me show them a little love. Let me give them this experience. Let me show them their worth. Let me show them that they could do it. And I'm not saying not to whenever you know that you can. But you also have to know how much to give. You have to know how much to give. You gotta know it. And you gotta understand that empathy is something that's really valuable because not a lot of people on this earth have empathy. There's a whole lot more people on this earth without empathy, for sure. And we all know that. We all know that for sure. So with that being said, you gotta know like having it is a good thing and there's nothing wrong with it. But while you understand other people and while you understand that you can have empathy for certain situations and whatnot, you have to remind yourself that it's really not your job to fix them. It's really not your job to fix the situation. Your attention could be going towards so much more fruitful things. It could really be going towards your finances, your mental health, your well-being. It could go towards so many different things. Your physical health, you know, it could go towards spending quality time with a loved one. You want to put your attention on things that really does matter to you. And when it comes to having empathy and knowing that it's not your job to fix them, you also got to know too, like, you can have a lot of empathy, but you just can't forget about yourself. That's really what I'm trying to get down to. Like, I have it in my notes there, like, you really just can't forget about yourself. You got to know that. You have to know that. I've made that mistake. And sometimes it would take other people showing empathy towards me for me to grow in this way, to know that. You know, because those same people that saw my pain and my suffering knew that that is what I was going through. They were like, oh, I've been there before. Because they were people of strength too. They helped others too. They helped elevate others too. They seen people at low points in their life and helped elevate them to a higher point and ended up getting nothing in return. And at the end of the day, I'm never going to say do stuff because you expect stuff back. When you do something, do not be attached to an outcome. Because when you are attached to an outcome, that is where all those feelings of disappointment kind of like flow in. Be detached from the outcome. If you're gonna help, help. If you're gonna be there, be there. But just know, like, in this season of isolation, God wants you to pour into yourself. The universe wants you to pour into yourself. Whatever it is that you believe in. It's time for you. It's time for you to water your own plants. It's time for you to fill your own cup. You gotta know, like, you were born to act out of love. And again, like, this just goes right back to humanity. But don't let it weigh you down. Look, I done dropped this joint. I'm over here trying, y'all. I can't let nothing stop me. I can't let nothing stop this. This for the community. We gonna build it. We gonna build it one day at a time. But I mean it when I say now you gotta let go. It's really your time. It's really your time. You gotta watch your thoughts. You gotta release those expectations. You gotta accept that life is filled with impermanence. Friendships aren't permanent. Life is impermanent. Like, relationships are impermanent. A lot of these things aren't meant to last. And the only thing that makes that suffering last a whole lot longer is when we don't accept that not everything is meant to stay. Life is free flowing. It's like a river. It's meant to keep flowing. It's meant to have those curves. It's meant to be really fast. It's meant to be really slow. Sometimes the river dry up, and then sometimes the river come back. But it's just a matter of understanding that a lot of these things are out of your control. The only thing that's in your control is you. So you got to learn now that whatever situation that you're in, you could come out on top. You could still make it out. You just got to be positive. You got to have faith in the positive. You got to know that the inner strength in you is going to make you unshakable. It's going to sting. It's going to be an emotional scar that you might feel like is there for the rest of your life, but don't cling to it. Don't cling to it, because I promise you, each day that suffering, that pain that you feel right now is going to lessen day by day by day by day by day by day. And knowing that, you have to say, all right, this happened, but I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. I'm going to be okay at the end of the day. So let me focus on what I can do. Let me focus on that. Let me focus on putting my attention towards everything that's going to make me better. Because I guarantee you, when you keep doing that, you're going to find your village. You're going to find your people. Because people are going to see you doing the right thing. They're going to be like, man, I like this guy. Or I like this girl. They minding their business. And they doing what they got to do for them. Now, instead of you trying to hold on to something and force a situation to be what you projected it to be, things are happening more authentically. You recognize that a good relationship isn't something that you gotta force. A good friendship isn't something you gotta force. You don't have to beg anybody to be in your life. You don't have to ask anybody to treat you right when you got yourself. Treat yourself right. Be involved in your life. Be involved in your life. Let the nonsense go. And if people want to walk, let them. If people want to be weird, let them. If people want to try to talk down on your name or whatever the case may be, defend yourself in certain instances, but after that, let them. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit you to do the opposite. Because why would you hold on to something that doesn't want to stay? How does that serve you? And the answer is it doesn't. And you know that. So now, after watching this video, you got to do better. You got to do better. You got to work harder. You got to work harder. You got to set your focus on what's staying in your life currently and make those relationships stronger. Make those friendships stronger. Whatever the case may be, just make it stronger. Make it work for you. Don't pay attention to what left or what's gone or what's no longer here. Focus on what's currently here. Be present in the moment. What are you grateful for? Affirm yourself. Give yourself those positive affirmations. Because I promise you, in the end, you ain't going to regret it. You're not going to regret it. Because you're going to be so happy with yourself that you'll become so self-sufficient that you understand now that you don't really need those people who decided that for some random reason or whatever reason they've came up with that you aren't good enough. You don't want to keep those people in your life. Why would you want to keep somebody in your life that's telling you that you're not good enough? Why would you want to be in a situation that's sending you the message that you're not good enough? You got to move past it. And you got to encourage yourself. Be your own cheerleader. Anyways, y'all, that's the video. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Let's get the message out there, because at the end of the day, we all connected. We ain't the only ones going through this. There's always going to be somebody that we can help. And if you know somebody that this resonates with, send them this video. Give them the encouragement that they need. Give them the watering that they need. And just make sure that they understand that they're important too, and they got somebody like you in their life that cares about what they're going through enough to let them know that, yo, you see them going through what they're going through, but at the end of the day, they're not alone. Because I promise you, you're not alone.